Whilst most of us are, understandably, very excited for the release of Jurassic World Evolution and the dinosaurs and the features we're going to have at launch, it's equally important that the game has a lifespan far past the June 12th release. Jurassic Park Operation Genesis is over 15 years old now, and yet people are still developing modding tools for it and bringing out new additions, including like Godzilla and stuff. And I think we'd all like to see Evolution last a good long while as well. After all, who knows how long it'll be before we get another Jurassic Park building game? Could it be another 15 years? With all of that in mind, a lot of my focus at the Frontier LA event was how the game is going to advance in the future, be that via modding, DLC or just the general direction, and I've got a little bit to cover for all three of those topics. So let's start with modding. There's been a lot of questions about this because it is, quite simply, the best way to give a game a long lifespan. Jurassic World Evolution is inherently a more difficult game to mod for than, say, Zoo Tycoon 2 or even Planet Coaster, as its console releases mean that your creative building controls are always going to be a little bit more limited. The focus this time is on management, as Frontier have said. It's not really on aesthetics and elaborate displays. It also suffers somewhat from its very close ties to a major blockbuster franchise, as I suspect Universal would not take kindly to nude guest mods or extreme gore levels and decapitations in their big shiny new game. And when I spoke to Frontier about modding at the event, they said it's difficult to implement simply because of these ties to the franchise. They also said if the community wants it, really, truly wants it and shouts for it, as I know so many of you will and do, they will at the very least look into it. There is hope there for the future, guys, and we all know that talented modders have a habit of modding things that were never meant to be modded in the first place. But for now at least, it is on the back burner. That means DLC is going to be the primary way the game extends its lifespan, be that free or paid. We've already seen this in action via the Deluxe Edition dinosaurs, which will be available post-launch, for those wondering, and if they kept that same ratio of £1 or $1 to a dinosaur, I think most of us would be more than happy to keep purchasing new creatures down the line. Hell, it actually seems pretty damn cheap at that rate. Frontier have also said that we should look at their support of both Elite Dangerous and Planet Coaster as a sign of where Jurassic World Evolution may also go. Both games have come out with some pretty hefty expansion packs, such as the Studio Pack recently released for Planet Coaster, and the latter has also released some smaller packs that, whilst not as big as the themed expansions, add more depth to your park building. Perhaps then, this is what we can come to expect from Evolution. Supplementary dinosaur packs sandwiched between larger themed expansions, such as an aviary or aquatic themed pack that we all hope comes down the line. That to me sounds perfect, and at the end of the game's lifespan, who knows how many different creatures we'll be able to have roaming around our parks. I know some of you are anti-DLC, particularly Day 1 DLC, but if it means we're having content developed a year or 2 or 3 years from now, then well, I think most of us would be happy with that. This all brings me on to my final point, which is the overall future of Evolution. I have a theory about the first DLC we'll see for the game post-launch, which I've covered briefly before. We're pretty sure that the Indoraptor is not actually in the game at release, since the game comes out before the worldwide release of Fallen Kingdom, and Universal have been really super secretive about the name of its new antagonist. Even though we all know it, it's not really out there in the public. To the wider public, you can see it on sort of the toy previews and stuff, it's still known as Villain Dinosaur. Creative director of Jurassic World Evolution, Michael Brooks, had this to say when asked about tying in with the upcoming film. He said, "We're working with Universal to tie things in with Fallen Kingdom, but we're not actually talking about those things. But yes, we're definitely aware of what they're doing and working alongside them." This to me suggests that we'll get a DLC pack, probably late in June after the global release of the film, that will add the Indoraptor and perhaps also some other dinosaurs that are in the film but missing from the game. If there are any, we don't know for sure yet. We know the Indominus Rex is in the game from a German PC Gamer interview, and that right now there is only one spot for hybrids in the research tree. There's definitely room to add more, but for now there's one spot. So I think overall this is a pretty safe conclusion to draw. There's something else though, which I only speculate on after a private little conversation with the head writer of the game at the event, John Zerplatten. When discussing the post-launch content, I suggested that as the franchise is moving off the islands and onto the mainland, at least for the end of Fallen Kingdom and likely most of the third film, that we could see Evolution do the same thing and perhaps let us build a mainland park, just like the San Diego Zoo that was envisioned at the end of The Lost World. The scale for catastrophe would be huge, it'd offer an interesting new aesthetic compared to Las Cinco Muertas, and it'd tie in very well with the main franchise. He of course couldn't confirm anything to me, but he accepted it was an interesting idea, and I got a hint, just a hint, that maybe it was something already in heavy consideration. I don't want people to take this as gospel or anything like that. He definitely didn't give me proper information, but I suspected from that conversation it was something they were already looking at. Regardless of what happens, Frontier have shown that when they handle a big game, and this is their biggest yet, and the community falls in love with it, they support it long after its release. Maybe we won't ever be able to mod Evolution, and maybe in 15 years time we won't still be supporting the game like we are with JPOG, but at the very least, we should hope for and expect a good few years of support. After all, Elite Dangerous came out 3.5 years ago and is still going strong. Let me know what you want to see in the comments down below. Do you have any DLC ideas other than Aquatic and Aviary? Maybe we could have a Cenozoic pack, a pre-dinosaurs pack, or ones themed after the films in the franchise, letting us create those amazing Jurassic Park 3 raptors for example. I'd love to hear your thoughts, and until then, cheers, much love, and as always, bye bye. Quick little shout out at the end. This video and all the others would not be possible without the support of you guys at home, and also all my Patreon supporters who are listed up on the page right now for April 2018. Thank you guys for all the help, and if you want to join in and help me out a little bit, you can do so at patreon.com/bestinslot. Thanks for joining me.